Ready? And we are live. Again, let me kill these windows. We are here with the Bracketeers,
What's happening, Mike?
your one-stop shop for everything polls, bracket polls. Not just music polls, but what I said when I met these guys was the creativity. So let's introduce you guys. We got TJ out of South Carolina.
How
And
y'all doing?
Joe from Kentucky, Northern Kentucky, you said?
Yeah, right by Cincinnati.
Like I said, you guys just aren't music, you're everything. And started to bring things over. You got me stuck in one of your drafts, and you shanghaied me. I didn't know how it worked.
Dude, that was a lot of fun, though. That was a
I
lot
got
of fun.
even. But you know, it's not just you guys, there's two other guys involved too, right? I'm correct?
Yes, there are four of us.
Who are the other two guys' names again? I forgot.
Kevin and Matt.
Now, first question is, how did you guys come up with this? And you know, you're all over the country. How did this come to fruition?
So
Go ahead.
we kind of fell into it. We know each other all through fantasy football. So TJ and I went to college together. Matt went to high school with TJ. I've never lived around him, but now we're really good friends. And Kevin went to high school with another one of our other friends. So it's just a hodgepodge group of guys. Some of us know each other really well, but all of us have known each other through fantasy football for a while. And just there's a current champ in our league right now. And so I just wanted to showcase that real quick.
Nobody else has that, just you.
So when COVID happened and everything shut down, I was going to the office. I didn't have much to do. And I remember this thing I saw on Facebook where it was a Sweet 16 tournament for the best sports movies. And sitting around my desk months later, I thought about it. I'm like, I think I can make a more fun bracket than that. So I create my own little bracket. I take a photo of it, send it to two different groups of friends, and I get about 12 of us to vote on the bracket. And we work through it. I do everything manually. And then TJ and Kevin call me a couple weeks later and they say, Joe, we think this is going to work really well on Twitter. This was a really fun thing. Why don't you join up with us and we'll do it on Twitter? And I was like, guys, I don't tweet. Like I'm not on social media. No thanks, whatever. So you guys run with it, have fun with it. I'm following along with them as they're running the first few tournaments and stuff. And they're kind of updating our fantasy football league and what all's going on with it. And you said you got hoodwinkled into one of our tournaments, Mike?
Just the draft.
Yeah, the draft. Yeah. So they asked me to do a wrestling draft with them. And it's my idea. I'm like, yeah, that's great. You know, I'll do a wrestling draft with you. So I picked my team and I got to text them to find out how it's doing on Twitter. I really, really enjoyed it. So then I called them up and I was like, guys, I want to get back in. Is the invite still good? Because I think this does work. And from that point on, well, before that, they were already running with it. But from that point on, that's kind of the beginnings of it and how we fell into it with the group that we've got and kind of how the idea first originated.
Well, what grabbed me with you guys was, however I originally found you. Like I was telling you guys before we went live, and a few times, I guess, in direct messages when we were just talking, is I used to do this just to get new followers. You have to have some content. You know, I'm trying to promote rock and roll, you know, younger bands and artists, but you got to get the people in. So, you know, you got to put out the free samples. It's like going to Sam's Club. you want to get them to buy the whole thing of this, the mini sausages or something. You got to get the samples. So I did that, and I mean, it was okay, and I didn't mind, but it just got annoying, and it's so repetitive. And I like to have different content, not just the music. Some things to just keep people busy and, you know, more interactive. But what I liked about you guys, I think I was looking for some just different polls, and maybe I typed it in as a search, and you guys came up. You've not railroaded yourselves into one topic, and that's what I love. And there's some guys that do bracket polls and, you know, let's say tournament polls, but it's either they stay in music, and they've all been done. over and over and over. And I think I even warned you guys about the one I came in with, the 70s poll, that I can probably call who's going to win it.
And you did call it, I think, actually, I think you might have even derailed it.
Yes, I did on purpose.
Yeah.
I brought in the Queen fan club because who was the guy that had Stairway to Heaven?
It was Joe.
It was you.
It was Joe.
I remember you saying, "Yeah, we like the smack talk." I said, "Oh yeah, okay, I know how to get even." And I kept my mouth shut the whole tournament. And the day of the championship, I went right to the Queen fan club. I tweeted it to them and I said, "Are you going to let this happen?" They destroyed me. I was laughing my ass off.
I tried to get all 39 of my followers to vote for my squad. It just didn't work out for me.
Oh no, I had thousands, and I started to feel bad, but I don't think I ever told you.
Don't ever feel bad about that.
Oh,
I
don't feel bad.
That's what we do to one another.
and I'm not kidding you. I've watched that poll done in so many different ways. Put it this way: anything Led Zeppelin or Stairway to Heaven is in, I don't think I've ever seen it lose, and it lost.
Yeah,
I was
we even did.
I said,
Did the greatest intro to any song, and it won that.
yeah, and I don't honestly, personally, I don't think it's the greatest intro. It's maybe one of the most recognizable, but that's how people vote. You know, there's a big, very blurry line between subjective and objective, voting in those polls, and that's another reason because I would actually end up arguing with people. Or the other thing that I used to run into was, oh my God, I don't know how many times I came in fighting for you guys because I don't give a shit.
Right.
Well, I'll say, you make it clear it's 64 to start, you know what I mean? And, and that's it. And then you always got somebody, well, where's this one? How could you forget this? And, and I'm like, oh my God. And I just,
here's the thing, Mike, we love that. We try to create that. We want that emotion. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what we go after as we think about our tournaments is what's going to bring emotion. And when your favorite childhood show or character or something is left out, something that you really appreciate, it brings that emotion. And that interaction is kind of what we drive off of. We can make you happy or we can make you sad, but it's not necessarily us. It's what's created.
Right. And I mean, you guys, I think you just did cartoon characters too, right? Mm. Cartoons are cartoon. See, that's the kind of stuff I love. And that's why I'm just in a short amount of time. I mean, you guys are, what was it, like June when you really started to push it?
Yeah, we first got started in middle of April, and it just kind of started rolling along probably about June time. And I think we hit 1,000 followers right around that time, maybe even a little bit later. And we just kind of kept plugging along, and it's growing and growing and growing. So right now we're real close to 6,000. So
yeah, I think I saw, because I tweeted something. I'm always, once in a while I'll say, listen, I call it the KRA family. Give these guys a follow and get close. I think you were at 4831 last I looked at them.
Yeah, we appreciate that too.
5831. You're gonna beat us 6,000. But it's what's going to happen is you'll see that the more you gain, and you guys are always keeping it, changing it up, and it's always fresh. You'll have 10,000. If it's just something to do that you enjoy, it'll keep excelling. Just keep finding the content, and you're good at it.
Yeah, appreciate it. That's what we've talked about. Is just like always searching for the next topic that someone's going to enjoy discussing in the comments and so on and so forth. We just we legit enjoy doing it, and that's what's the whole fun about it. Like when it's all said and done, we do want to have 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers when it's all, everything's said and done, but
more than that. But we just enjoy it. We legit have a good time with it. Enjoy the contest that we create for the followers, and they seem to enjoy it. So we're just going to keep on going with no end in sight.
We met before we went live. We were saying, Joe, just right now we need something. We were talking about distraction, especially this year, and things to feel good about. And you're putting in a lot of content Music is a big thing that takes people back. But like the cartoons, everybody's done the movies, but you've done a lot of different stuff. 70s toys, anything like that.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good because it takes you back. Like I was Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Even they brought back that the Evel Knievel stunt cycle is back in
It's
production.
actually a really, really good idea. TJ, we might want to write that one down. That's
Yeah.
Oh, 70s toys?
yeah, or old school toys or something.
Oh yeah.
We
Yeah,
got
the 70s toys are all the same as the 60s. They're kind of all those toys. But yeah, I mean, well, I did this by accident. And another thing you could maybe look, if you're looking for content, is go on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Don't ask me why. They're just, you name it, this crazy shit. But I go on there looking for younger artists that are just putting up their own music or doing some riffs or something. You just never know what you're going to find. And I tripped over a video of this guy with the old Evel Knievel stunt cycle from the 70s, which I had as a kid. I don't know if you ever saw it. You kind of wind it and then it takes off.
I didn't see it. No.
If you Google it, you'll see it. It's ridiculously popular. It was it's so popular now that this guy with his videos, they brought it back and they put this thing back into production and kids are buying it. It's like this year's Christmas gift for 40-year-olds and older, because it's what we had as kids. But he was jumping like his kiddie pool. He was doing the stunt jumps that Evel did in the 70s in his driveway, and then they added music to it and slow-mo, and it was so stupid.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
But what I did is I posted it, and then you might hook up with this guy. I'll tell you, Super 70s Sports. He's on Twitter.
Yeah, he's got a big account. Really big account. Yeah.
Well, one night I got the video off of TikTok and I put it up, and I'm, a couple of hundred views like most of them. Then it hit 1,000 and 2,000. I'm like, I get it. Everybody's streaming. All of a sudden I see 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, and now it's going up like a progressive slot machine out of control.
Wow, it's crazy.
He retweeted it, and it was up to, I got a screenshot of it, 860,000 views. And then the guy that originally posted it found it and then messaged me, and he goes, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, I didn't know, and then I found out who retweeted it. It was him, and it just exploded. And that night, his account got hacked. Somebody was messing with him, and he lost. I don't know if you saw when he lost his.
I didn't see that. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So I didn't know if it was something with his copyright. I took the video down, and everybody was like stuck. But it turned out some jerk hacked them. But again, like I was saying, Twitter, you also got to be careful, because wherever there's people, you got the good and you got the bad.
Yeah.
But what do you? Now I know you do a lot of it, a lot of music, a lot of entertainment kind of polls, obviously. But who comes up with the ideas? Is it just as they come in, or are you actively seeking it out? I know you put out a lot of you reach out to the followers and ask people for ideas. What do you got different? I want to hear what's the next big thing.
You
We
go ahead.
never know the next big thing. So originally, when we first got going, we even had like multiple tournaments planned out weeks and weeks in advance. But what we've learned is we got to be more flexible and kind of follow the followers of where they want to go and what's working and all that kind of stuff. So we've got TJ, the next tournament or two idea lined up, but after that we've got nothing.
Yeah, we just kind of roll with it.
We've got lists of ideas, but we'll throw out things on Twitter to see what really hits. And if we throw out something and it doesn't do very well, then we drop that idea. If it brings a lot of interaction, then all right, let's run with this. People are excited about this one. We just kind of follow their lead.
Did you do the 70s? I know you were thinking about it. Did you? Maybe I missed it. The 70s version 2, or
we call it a followers invitational more times.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So it kind of rolls back to the point you were making earlier about saying, well, where's this song? Where's this song? Where's this song? Mm-hmm. So the first time we did it was with 80s music. So obviously when you limit it to 64 80 songs, you're going to leave off a ton that other people love, So we ran what we called the FIT, Followers Invitational Tournament. And people appreciate it. They just appreciate the fact that you listened to what they had to say, you involved it into the content, and then, and sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. It just kind of depends on what kind of, or the quantity of entrants that we missed out on. So
Tell
the
them
70s we definitely should have done, though, for sure.
Yeah, the 70s. So we grew up in the 90s, you said, or 80s and 90s. TJ and I did. If you would have asked me the best decade of music, no doubt about it in my mind, it was the 90s. We've done these tournaments, and as doing the tournaments, this is when we were all drafting. Now we use the followers more, but I would do so much research to try and win the tournament with the picks that I made, and looking at the different songs and different lists. I mean, it was hours of research just trying to win a draft. After doing the drafts of the 4 different decades, there's no doubt about it. 70s just dominated it. I mean, it
just blew it away.
Yeah, I think I told you guys originally that if you want to, what I call them slam dunk polls, the basics. 70s usually first, 80s really close second, and then it's easy from there. You can do the 70s rock, 70s. You can even do disco. I mean. People, they'll say, but you're in a different position where you can draw off of everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, you're not just you're not railroaded into what you want to just staying into, let's say, rock and roll. You could draw off the disco or anything else. But 70s
country doesn't do well on Twitter.
And doesn't what? I don't think it translates.
No, we did a couple country things. It did all right. I'm the country guy in the group, so.
But in the rock and roll, it's simple. 70s rock and roll, and you go right down the line of the basics: songs, albums, guitarists, bass players, drummers, singer, vocalists. And the only thing I started to do is I started giving like the obvious winners a bye.
Oh yeah.
Right to I'd allow a champion, or I'd eliminate them. And then I put them up against who the winner of the poll was.
That's a good
because you know what happens at this, it really ruins it, because you let's say the first round of 64 and you got Robert Plant against so and so, for an example. Whoever he just draws up against, he's just going to destroy. It just doesn't work. So I started doing that just to make it more interesting and not always.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had people, certain fan bases like kind of overtake our tournament sometimes, like Michael Jackson fans. When we ran, I think he won 80s. He had all 4 in the final 4. He had won the 90s with it doesn't matter if you're black or white or something like that, which is, that's a great song, but it's not the best song of the 90s.
It dominated the tournament.
You know what?
It just ran away with it.
Yeah, that happens. It'll happen to you until you reach a certain amount of followers where no matter what they do, they can't eat it up.
Right.
We kind of like it. If you can get 2 fan bases going against one another,
well, that's fun to watch.
That's a great situation for us. It hurts because the tournament kind of gets ruined, but it's great as far as interaction goes.
It actually happened with the quarterbacks of the NFL. So we ended up with
Green Bay, the Tennessee Volunteer fans versus the Green Bay Packer fans.
Yeah,
it was
nose to nose. It was a ton of fun. It was fun watching them just kind of go back and forth, and it literally came down to like the last 5 minutes of the tournament.
That is when it's fun. But I'm trying to think of. I'm more about the music. But the only advice I can give you guys is whenever you run into those, if you do by the years, if you really break it down. One thing about the rock music polls and some of the other music polls is the outcomes are usually already proven. So that's the one thing you got to battle against. And I had that happen too, where certain fans came in and just completely took over. I think I had less than 5,000 followers, and I did the greatest guitarists of all time. And not one of the typical top 4 even made the final. And I was like, wow. And I knew who it was. I don't want to say it because they get angry. They're passionate about their bands and their,
Right.
you know, and they're guys. So, but you know, that's okay. What I try to tell everybody is there's no science in this. It's supposed to be fun. It's like you could do the top 32 flavors of ice cream or something. It doesn't matter.
Right. Doesn't matter. Yep.
Yeah, it's just for fun.
If we do a tournament that flops, it flopped, and it's done in 3 or 4 days.
Right.
I mean,
and I notice you've been great about that too. That you're not dragging them out.
yeah.
I think you're going pretty like 24 hours around.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it, because I'll go over there when I got a slow day and I'll see that things are just a little stale or whatever. And I'm always looking, I'll see that you got something cool going. I steal it and I even rotate them. I don't keep them up long. I'll bring 2 or 3 individual polls from, and then I'll roll it. And once I see it slow down, then I delete that and I bring 3 new ones over. So I don't even know if you realize when I do it.
Yeah, we realize it. We appreciate it too. Yeah, we really do.
But that's cool. And it's fun watching how, like I said, you guys have you're almost 6,000. By the end of the year, you should, conceivably easily 7. Who knows? Because once you start to roll them up, and the biggest thing you want your followers to do is always tell them to retweet. That's the biggest thing. Liking is great. Getting involved with the polls and voting is great. But retweeting is what. Then it goes to their account, and then everyone that they follow or follows them sees what you're doing.
Right.
That's how you really get the ball rolling. For some reason, a lot of people, I don't know why, even with Keep Rock Alive, they hesitate, and they're fans of the music. And then most of the people that are on their account as friends are also fans of the music, and I just don't know why they hesitate. And they'll vocally say, oh, I love this song or this band or whatever. And I hate asking.
Right.
You know what we do.
What we've kind of seen, obviously there's a lot of different poll things on Twitter all over the place. The way we involve our followers, either helping us come up with ideas, literally making or creating tournaments for us, filling out every position in there, doing 2-man drafts, 4-man drafts. We have the fist fight tournaments. So that's 16 individual follower picks that go into a fist fight tournament, whether it's a celebrity, male, female, historical figure, whatever it is. As people get involved, they become more connected with us, and they're quicker to retweet and interact later. So for the same reason they pulled me in with my original idea, but not on Twitter, but they pulled me in by having me take place in a tournament or in a draft. And that was a lot of fun. From that point on, I was hooked. We see other followers doing that. It's just a fun thing. And the more you interact with it, the more it's yours and the more you care about it. And it just brings those natural retweets out.
That's the biggest thing. It's like anything. You're not just it's there, read, click. You get people involved, interacting.
Yeah.
That again, things, even though what we do is different, it's the same. I say that to the bands that we support. Get involved with your fans, get them. And I even put it out in the last tweet before we went live. I said, come join the chat live. And if you got any polling, ideas.
Oh, that's cool.
So
yeah, absolutely.
But I'm kicking myself in the butt because usually, historically, Friday nights are slow. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah. We'll put
have a good time, right?
Yeah. And this is for myself. And I see you guys working at it constantly.
So with that, Mike, because you said running those polls wore you out, that is 99% TJ. That's, when you interact, me and you have talked a little bit in DMs through the Bracketeers. 90% of your conversations have been with TJ. He's the workhorse. He's the grinder. He's the one that's out there cranking it every day. So that's most of the interaction that you're going to see from the Bracketeers.
Yeah, that's patience. I don't have patience.
Yeah.
Because I used to do that when I'd sit down.
Addiction thing more so than anything else. Like I just get addicted to it. I'm like, well, I'll throw up a feeler and that's kind of where we've gone with finding the next topic. Just throw up a feeler like, what's the best flavor of ramen noodles? What's the best Cheez-It flavor? What's the best? What, it's endless. And if something gets a ton of likes and comments and this, that you can build a bracket out of it. You just so it's just a matter. And I have a certain type of personality where I just get addicted to wanting. Well, that wasn't good enough. Let me get the next one. Let me get the next one. Something's gonna hit. And it's just I just enjoy it. So it's just gonna keep on going.
Nah, that's cool. The thing that I started to get was wearing me out was the research to make the polls, let's say, competitive.
To feed them.
I was so stuck in, I just did music. And
Right.
Every poll is kind of almost asking the same thing over and over, because when you ask the greatest guitarist, Led Zeppelin fans are always going to say Jimmy Page.
Right.
If you ask for the greatest album, they're going to say Led Zeppelin more.
Yeah.
So it's the outcome is usually the same. But
we ran out of sports a lot. Sports, we wanted to do a lot of entertainment and a lot of sports, almost at an even pace. With sports, like the best basketball player, Jordan's going to win every time.
Mm-hmm.
We tried different positions, and you always knew going into it who the top 2 or 3 were. So we haven't done much sports lately. We do some gambling stuff. If you've seen our safest bets out there or whatever. But sports are pretty hard to put into in a bracket format like this without knowing the eventual champion. Like that's our goal, is to create those unpredictable tournaments.
Right.
And it's hard to do with sports.
Sports have a written history. It's kind of like if you ask who's the greatest baseball team of all time, if you go by history, you got to say the Yankees that won 27 World Series.
Yeah,
it's the same idea.
Well, I guess we could try like what Mike was talking about earlier. Like we could do greatest basketball player, and you leave out Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, and then
and you're going to get people mad no matter what, but then you have to explain. We understand that's why we're going to give him the historical bye, because we know he can't lose. He is the great. So we got to give somebody else a chance just to make it interesting.
Yeah. And then you
might also come out
with him and see how it works out.
And the cool thing about that is, let's say the typical second place or the runner-up, whoever that would be, maybe with not having a Jordan, in that kind of bracket, might also change the outcome of who would have been second and make just for a better final. You just don't know. The only way to do it is just roll it.
Yeah.
Well,
just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, you have to. It's like, I want to say it. Polls are like sex. If it gets boring, you can change positions. I used that the other day. I forgot where it was. I answered somebody, and I actually got somebody upset. I'm like, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You can't joke in 2020, Mike.
We could go, like I said, this. I think maybe for New Year's Eve, maybe what we'll do is we'll do a live, and I'll get all the people that are actually like cool and in and on board with like what happened this year, and say we're gonna have it. I'll have the fuck it end of the year live stream where we actually just say everything the way we feel and not worry about what anybody said. But that's another thing. Maybe let me ask you, if you run across this where you've had people. I mean, you guys, I can tell, are just cool, and you're so much more. I'm very impulsive and reactive. Right. I see just how you handle things. It just rolls off, and you're just really cool and laid back.
Appreciate it.
But I mean that. But have you ever had anybody like give you some real grief? Really, you just like, are you kidding me?
Not yet. Not to the point where we really where it got us. Unless Joe's got something.
Well, there's one follower that blocked us at one point because he got upset about we had the podcast tournament, and there was a follower that had a very large following base already, and everybody else is like the 1,000 to 2,000 range, maybe less than that, maybe like 200 to 2,000 range. And he didn't get his request in time, and it was already filled up. So he got upset, blocked us, sent some mean message to us, and 3 of the 4 of us didn't really care about it. But old TJ here got a little bit heated.
Ah.
He It was nothing bad, but he posted a couple things, and the other guy never commented. But with our whole idea is to give a break from COVID. So we want to be light, entertaining. We had somebody message us one time asking us, this was months ago, but how about you have a poll where do you wear a mask? Yes or no? And we were like, that's not what we do. You will not see a political poll up from us ever. This is a break for fun stuff, not for, I don't know, serious issues.
Absolutely. I have it on. I'll dance that line because sometimes, let's say the business of music, like now with the venues being closed, obviously there's, it shouldn't be political, but there's politics involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But politics and anything on Twitter, especially if you're trying to gain followers or build something or, create something, like the bands are just trying to find and earn new fans, you can't do politics. It's poison. Yeah. Absolute poison. And just immediately, even if you like allude to agreeing with, let's say an opposite side, you're fucking pegged as being whatever. So I absolutely agree with you. You can't do it. I've done actually the poll for the masks, and I'll say to people, listen, maybe you saw I call them reality polls. Things, because you got to be honest. You can't always hiding from everything isn't healthy either. And I'll say it like this, without going into the politics, in your opinion, you know what I mean?
Right.
But please, we're not here to divide, but we can talk, and I asked about the masks. Either, should you be forced, or I forgot, or do you just wear one? And people have been pretty good, much better than I expected. They fight more over who's the, greatest guitarist than they did over the masks. Which I was
passionate about
That's
that.
the fight we want.
I was totally blown away.
Yeah, that's the fight you want, right?
Yeah. But I mean, where I go with that is people just, like you said, you got to enjoy and learn to just go back to, we used to get along. You can agree, still be friends.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't understand. But like I said, maybe I might do that now that we've got talking about it. I'm going to do the end of the year blowout.
I like it.
Just like we'll have a Royal Rumble, a live Royal Rumble, let everybody just beat the crap out of each other.
Here's your venue to say exactly what you think about everything.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, we do things different because we are different. But rock and roll is supposed to be that way. But
that's true.
Rock and roll is timid right now. Not as a knock, but just everybody's worried what you're gonna say and how to say it.
Well, you gotta dance. You gotta dance on everything.
Sorry?
You gotta dance around everything. You can't everything's gotta be
even with nowadays with family. I see people breaking up on Facebook.
Oh, it's crazy.
They're like
crazy.
Brothers, sisters, kids, parents, husband and wives. I blocked my husband today. Why? I didn't like what he said on Facebook. What kind of world do we live in now? What happened to the good old days when you just got thrown out of the house? You son of a bitch. Sleep in the car. Now you get unfriended. It really is hilarious. This is us nowadays.
This is us, right? I think it's a TV show, actually.
Hey, it's the greatest. Like I said, two things happened this year. It's either a reality show and we're living like every bad movie we've ever seen all at the same time.
Yeah, I put up a poll. It's been a couple weeks ago, but sometimes I'll put one up to who did it better. Sometimes it's two musicians that perform the same song, so on and so forth.
That's a good knowledge. Before you go, that's a good one. Cover songs?
Yep.
Jackpot. Just saying.
We need to noted. We'll do cover songs.
You could do a whole thing on cover songs. Yep.
I like it. But I put up like who did it better, 2020 or the movie Sharknado, like, and I think 2021.
Yeah. Well, that's I did. Before I met you guys or found you guys back in the spring, I said when all these new terms came out, what the hell was it? I think we said using like 2020 as names of songs band names. That's what it was. Band names inspired by the year 2020. And it was hilarious. The Murder Hornets, all kinds of shit like that.
That'd be great.
Oh,
That's
so
maybe we can even put up.
you could do that too. You could do you'd have
We
to
can
get
steal
them
your
together.
idea there.
Yeah, just get, because there's a lot. Like one of the girls said, best new punk band, Social Distancing. It was, I mean, when you start to really think about it, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's great.
But anything, and like I said, I retweet just about anything that's funny or just gonna get people to click.
Yeah, that's right. Just put entertaining material out, man. Just try to make it fun for people. Really is what it all comes down to.
But well, you guys are dealing with something in a really good way that I said, because it's pretty much on social media, it's all been done, and you've managed to come up with fresh stuff. And
Appreciate
you're not
it.
afraid to try just about anything, and that's why I like sitting back and watching.
Well, Mike, so I was the one, we were talking to you about doing a tournament for you. And we were talking about maybe albums or something. And you said, that's been done. And so I was the one who came up with the best rock and roll moments tournament.
Yeah, that one I was like,
Yeah.
never seen it done. I think I said that.
When you shot down like, oh yeah, that's been done. I took that as like a personal challenge of, okay, I'm going to sit here for a couple hours and think of something new. That idea though, when I first came up with it, I worked on it, had different lists, but I had musicians dying or bands starting, and it took me a long time to kind of figure out how do I want to create the tournament in a way where, like, what topics get in there. Hopefully they would never have been voted on before, but I was super pumped up about that tournament, especially when I said you were like, man, I've never seen that before. I was like high-fiving myself. I said
that was one of the most creative tournaments I'd seen regarding music or rock and roll yet, because it had never been done before. I've seen it done individually or up to 4, like I've done it. Woodstock versus Us Festival versus Monterey Pop, stuff like that, the basics that everybody knows, because that's the other thing. The older events, and there's people that don't know any history, so you got to make it that at least things are kind of recognizable. But for the most part, rock and roll fans and music fans kind of know their stuff.
Yeah.
And that was really good because you could really mix up. It's pivotal moments. It's not just things that happen. It's pivotal losses or, anything could be what affected music.
So I don't know rock and roll history all that great. I mean, it's just, I was born in 80. I know a little bit. I know the songs that I like, but I don't know the big moments. That was all before my time. Creating that tournament, I was learning about rock and roll history. So it's been really neat for me to kind of, my work life and family life is tough. So for me to spend a few hours a night or something to like, oh, let's study rock and roll history was really neat, or just different topics that we go through. That's what makes this so much fun. So I learned a lot about rock and roll doing that tournament.
Did you find the This Dayton Rock and Roll page for all that kind of stuff?
Maybe. I looked through a bunch of different sites.
Wikipedia even has like a whole page dedicated to it, I think.
I very well could have. I probably looked at 20 different sites for that topic. As I kind of formulated the idea of what was going to be included, it was a weird topic to kind of search on the internet.
It's not all on one. There's not one go-to location. It's all out there floating around. But if you talk to enough, just people like on my page for stuff like that, and there's some really key people, like if you ever needed some guidance or something, I know exactly who I'd say just message, and they'd love to do it.
Awesome.
Just know their stuff, and they just love rock and roll and talking about it on any level. They don't care.
Yeah.
Truly love it.
What was that final there? I think it was Jimi Hendrix.
Queen Live Aids.
And Jimi Hendrix anthem?
On it, I think, against
the final?
Anthem.
Yeah, Star Spangled Banner and what'd you say, Live Aid?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was Queen's Live Aid, yep.
Yeah, because that was, the Star Spangled Banner, that's probably, what I don't even remember who, it was Jimi Hendrix won, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think Queen.
No.
No, Queen won the tournament.
Oh, you know what? Because we're still coming off the high of the movie and got a lot of young kids, and that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because typically, again, that Star Spangled Banner thing was 10, 15 years ago. It doesn't go that way. Even I would have voted for it, but it really wasn't. The Star Spangled Banner, in my opinion, wasn't so much of a pivotal moment as Woodstock, the whole festival was.
As a whole, yeah.
Yeah, but Woodstock's going to clean house.
Yeah.
So I can't throw Woodstock. That's you try to make those even comparisons.
But I mean, the performance that Queen put on at Live Aid was one of the greatest performances of all time, and it changed their trajectory too at the same time. But
that was kind of what was fun about him putting that together. Is like I didn't know about that, and he put that tournament together, and I had to go before I start voting. I go in there and start doing a little bit of research, and I'd never heard Queen's performance until that moment. I was like, man, they kicked ass. They killed it.
Yeah, no, rock and roll. There's a lot of history, a lot of crazy shit happened, a lot of cool stuff. It really does have a great history, but recently it's kind of like everything else. In the last 20 years, everything is pretty much
Commercialized.
Yeah, I hate to say it that way, but there's a lot of great bands out there that have been, but the times have changed. I don't blame them anymore. I don't blame anybody for anything that's happening. It's just we're looking back. You guys are products of the 90s, you said, right?
Yeah, we're both born in the early 80s. Yeah.
All right. So I mean, I was born in the late 60s. I love the 70s and 80s, and I look back at that like my father looks back at the 50s.
Yeah.
Right.
The product of your generation. You go. So you can't knock people for what they are and how they grew up, and what they're groomed as. Kids nowadays can't imagine being without an iPhone or a smartphone.
Yeah, that's right.
I had records. You guys kind of in the middle. You went CDs to MP3 probably, right?
Yeah, no cassettes.
We started
cassettes.
I had those. That was amazing until they got eaten up by our always the one in the car, the tape thing. But we knew how to fix them.
Yeah, you take the pencil and wind it back up, and
You got it out without stretching it. You could I'm trying to think. The fun thing about what you guys do is, I've never done it is set, because again, I always kept the music to sit down. You could come up with some just crazy ass polls. I mean, depending on how far you really want to go and testing the depth of the, do you want to go to the
we like crazy?
Huh?
We like crazy polls.
I got ideas, but I won't say. I don't.
I said for a DM. We'll save that for a DM.
Yeah, we'll wait until you guys are absolutely desperate and have no ideas left. But I mean, like I said, anytime you wanted to put out doing like another music poll, and if you're looking for people to get involved in your drafts, don't ever be afraid to hit me up.
We'll do it.
I told you, don't, and I'll put out a specific tweet to the crazies out there, because we've got really good people, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's kind of because it's grown to the point now where the good people have by far outnumbered the hecklers. You know what I mean? Because we had them a little bit, and they know this shit and they love it. That they're regulars, and I really try to steer them over there to you guys, saying, "Hey, listen, you got nothing else. Go over these. They're doing, movies. I know they like it because I used to do. I was doing those whatever weekends each year, and I would mix up top television shows of that year and stuff like that. People enjoy it, but you do it on a much bigger scale. And I said, check these guys out. They put in a lot of work. Give them a follow.
Appreciate it.
Get involved. But other than that, I don't know what's next. Christmas.
Right here behind me.
Yeah, but it's been a crazy year, guys. And like I said, I wanted to get you guys on because you are actually part of what, like I said, you're not just music. You're you're a mishmash of everything else, and just you keep it funny, keep it entertaining. And I like having that on. I steal your stuff to use it on the page.
They
That's,
steal away. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we love when you steal from us.
I'll continue. But I wanted to have you guys on, explain to people this is what, here's the people behind this. There's a lot of energy and work put into it. Get involved and have fun. Really,
Awesome, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it greatly, Mike.
All right, boys. But I'll see you on there every night. Wish you guys a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate.
Yes, sir. You too.
Your other two partners, again, always welcome. They want to come on and do something. What we're doing now is every Saturday night, I'm going to do this basically, call it the This Is Rock KRA Hangout. Everybody's invited, up to 100 people. Not that that's ever going to happen, but that could turn out funny if we insist that everybody starts drinking before they come on.
Yeah, got to drink a lot before you come on.
Yeah, you have to prove it. We want to see the empties.
I like it.
All right, guys. But again, thanks for coming on. It was fun having you. I knew it would be, like I said, interesting talking to you to find out what's going on behind this that makes it work.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you having us on.
You got it. Anytime. But that's for everybody else. We'll catch you guys in replays, YouTube. Tomorrow night, we got a Saturday night special. Thanks to Joe and TJ again, and we'll catch you next time.